Welcome to the video, guys. I'm going to be sharing with you the top 10 mods that I've done to my Mk8 Golf GTI.
Alright, before we get into the video, I got a quick little disclaimer for you guys. My list that I've compiled is based off of the following ownership experiences. So number 1, I've owned the car for 22,000 miles and it has been modded and tuned for the majority of that. Number 2, I drive a manual, so I don't have too much of an opinion on automatics. And number 3, I don't track the car, so I don't have much of an opinion on any sort of mod that changes a metric or responsiveness to a small degree. So with that being said, keep those in mind, and without further ado, we're going to hop right into the video.
So right off the bat with number 1, I'm going to start off with a tune. You can do a tune on your GTI, literally with all stock parts on there. It really wakes the car up, and I think that's how much power it should have had from the factory. And again, you don't need to put any mods on there. It just makes it literally wakes the car up. I think I put a stage 1 tune on this, a generic one, with EQT, and it made almost 100 horsepower, more than it already had from the factory. And that was, I think all I had was like a muffler on there, and I didn't really do anything else, so that's going to be my number 1. Moving on. All right, then at number 2, I'm going to go with the ShopDAP Pulley Shift Short Shifter kit. My car's a manual, so obviously this only applies to manuals, but man, oh man, does that shift feel crispy. The stock one was super rubbery, and it was all right. It wasn't bad, but when you put that Holy Shift kit in there, it changes all the bushings and the end links on the cables to billet aluminum, and the tolerances are a lot tighter, and it basically just, you put it in the first gear and it's just super notchy. It's not too notchy, but it's a good amount of notchy, and I think it just makes the shifting experience so much better than it was stock. And so I'm going to recommend that one, and we're going to move on. All right, number 3, another shifter mod actually. I'm going to go with my heavyweight BFI shift knob. That was actually, I think, the first mod I did to the vehicle, and that, even without the short shifter, if you just had that, it still made it a lot better, because the stock knob was super lightweight, and it felt like you were pretty much just, I don't know, it didn't feel responsive enough. It just felt plasticky and light, and it wasn't super as engaging of an experience as you would have wanted. So when I put that BFI knob on there, the throw just, it fell into gear so much nicer. That will also work hand in hand too with your short shifter kit. If you do one, it'll really help it just feel like super fast and furious. It's awesome. And we're gonna move on to number 4. All right, coming in at number 4, I have my intake. Doesn't matter which intake you do, it just gives you those whooshy noises that you so desire. And actually that's why I have it on the list, is mainly for the whooshy noises. And I know it does it helps with performance too. But let's be honest, the only reason why you put an intake in there is to just get extra turbo noises, and it does an incredible job at it. So every single time you're doing a pull that's just below 3K, you can hear that turbo slowly start to spool up, and it sounds amazing. So that's why I have it on the list. It's a great mod to put on there just to enhance your driving experience and just to make it much more fun. So I'm going to go with the intake for number 4, and then we're going to move on to number 5. And coming in at number 5, this was actually very close to the intake. I had trouble, divvying them out. I didn't know which one to put where. But I put the exhaust at number 5, and that for me includes, we'll call it a catback. For me personally, I did a resonator delete, and I did the Club Sport muffler, and didn't touch the downpipe. So for this rating, we're just going to say just a catback exhaust. It gives the vehicle a voice, so that's important. The only reason why I didn't put it at 4 was because I don't think it made as much of a difference as the intake did towards sound. The main difference I will say though is when you put a muffler on there, it actually totally adds so much more volume to the pops. So if you're a guy who likes gunshot sounding pops and bangs, a muffler, any upgraded muffler or catback or anything like that will totally totally make that a lot louder for you. So, but again, that's going to be my number 5 because I just don't think it made as much of a difference as the intake. And I think the intake is a lot more reasonable for most people compared to an exhaust. So, moving on to number 6. Coming in at number 6, I'm going to go with the stainless steel clutch line. It's another manual transmission mod. So again, for you automatic people, I'm sorry. I don't have experience with the automatic. I wish I did. Maybe one of these days I will, but I'm going to stop deviating from the point. The stainless steel clutch line is great because what it does is it removes what's called a swirl valve between your clutch pedal and the actual throw-out bearing in the clutch. So once you remove that swirl valve, it shortens the distance that the fluid has to travel through the clutch line to get to the throw-out bearing. And that's going to, in turn, make your clutch more responsive. So that's why I'm going to go with the stainless steel clutch line. It didn't change it that much, but what I will recommend to do with it while you're working on the clutch line is to remove your clutch delay valve. And that's actually sits in the meter block. So you take that out, you remove the clutch delay valve, you remove the swirl valve, and nothing will be restricting or elongating the distance that the fluid has to flow, and it'll make your clutch just a lot more responsive. I think they have that stuff in there just for new drivers. So if you're a new driver, you can keep it in there for a little bit, but once you remove it, it's definitely a good amount better. Not too much, but you'll notice it a little bit. So that's why I have it at number 6. At number 7, we have the intercooler. With the intercooler, you're going to get colder intake temperatures for longer, and that's definitely more important when you have a tune already. If you're stock, there's really no point in doing it, and it's a crazy process too. The reason why I have it at number 7 is because I don't really track the car, and I don't know that a lot of people do. I know there's a good amount that do, but I don't know most people that do. But I personally don't track the car, so I'm not super worried about intake temperatures. It's just more the fact that when I have the intercooler in there, it allows me to add more power to the vehicle, which I do love to do. So the intercooler allows me to keep my intake temperatures colder for longer, and it keeps my car driving real powerfully for a lot longer, and that's what I do like. It's just, again, I don't track the car, so it's not something that I'm super focused on being the intake temperatures, but yeah, it was a great mod. So all right, at number 8, I'm gonna go with my coilovers. Coilovers, they were actually, when I got them, were supposed to be mainly a visual mod, and I'm excluding those in this list. But with that being said, coilovers are not just a visual mod. So the reason why I did get them was to lower it and close the wheel gap, and they do a great job at that. But I'm going to put them at number 8 because when it comes down to the handling of it, again, I don't track the car, so it's definitely better. You can tell there's a lot less body roll. Drives like it's on rails, which it already kind of did from the factory, but the coilovers, they make that even better. And then the only downside to them is you'll lose comfortability and stuff like that. But I do road trip this. I'm going to road trip it soon, and it drives just fine. It's just a little less comfortable, but it's not. It really isn't too bad. So coilovers are a great mod. They allow you to lower your center of gravity, increase your handling, and they look great. So I'm going to put those at number 8. I think that's fair. And then we're going to move on to number 9. At number 9, this one's kind of a smaller one. It's going to be the EQT coil grounding kit. So what that does is the original coil grounds in the vehicle, there's a copper ground that sits around the bolt that bolts the coil down. And so that's how they're grounded on all 4 of them. There's one individual ground for each one of them. And when you're changing spark plugs or doing any sort of maintenance that requires you to remove your coil packs or spark plugs or anything like that, you're going to have to unscrew that, and those like to get damaged. So the EQT coil grounding kit is a great quality of life mod, and basically what it does is it removes the need to remove all 4 grounds from each coil pack before taking them out. It basically just grounds them to the back of the plug that plugs into the coil pack, and once you remove the coil packs, you just unplug them, and it's good. And then it grounds all to one point off to the side of the engine bay. So they're supposed to have a stronger ground too, so if you're having issues with like knock or misfiring or anything like that, those are said to help. So I'll put those at number 9 because it doesn't really, like, it's not anything you really feel or notice, but it's definitely a good quality of life thing for when you're maintaining the car maintenance. So we're going to move on to number 10. All right, this one might come as a shock to you, some people, but for number 10, I have the clutch kit. So the clutch kit, I had to do it, and I like it. I like that I have it because I can add more power, which again, I like to have power. So, but the reason why I put it at 10 is because it's just a super expensive mod that you kind of have to do. You don't really want to. It makes it feel a little better, but it's really not, like, the feel is not worth how much it costed me to do it. If you can do it yourself, that'd be great because it doesn't cost nearly as much, but I didn't really trust myself with the transmission, so it costed me, I think, $2,000 after labor, and I just kind of had to do it because I went stage 2, and I was like, great, I don't really want to lose this power now. Like, if I start slipping, I don't want to tune it down. I think I kind of just forced myself to go get it, and I'm glad I did, and it feels better, so it's nice. But I just wouldn't say it's one of my favorite. It's probably one of the lesser favorite mods that I've done to the car. So, but yeah, that's going to conclude my top 10 favorite mods. If you have any other reservations or opinions about it, feel free to discuss it in the comments. Again, these were based on my opinions. I'm not going to say this is the best thing you can do for your car, but I'd like to share my opinions with you after having these mods for so long. So yeah, thanks for watching.